You are.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm going to switch this focus a bit from, just a technical conversation into more revenue and business driven like use cases for product managers. So yeah, I want to talk about innovation. And let's do next slide. Yeah, so my name is Anna. I'm a director of product at Kaseya. Kaseya is a pretty large software company that has around like 30 different products in the portfolio. And our biggest goal is to become a big, large platform. I have my LinkedIn, so please do connect with me. And next slide. Yeah, so I want to talk a bit about innovation because I think we in product we love talking about innovation and everyone wants to innovate, right? But let's think about like why it's important, what is innovation in general, what types of innovation exist, and I also want to talk a bit about the low end disruption use case because I think this is one of the most interesting use cases in the innovation topic. And our company had some experience with launching low end disruption products, and I'm really passionate about this topic. Next slide. Yeah, so why product managers should care about innovation, right? Next slide. I think like obviously we can talk a lot about the competition. We can talk about how our customers become spoiled, but I think the top biggest reasons why innovation is important is first of all because it brings revenue, and then it's because the B2B market is in a constant state of flux, right? And it changes rapidly. So since it changes so fast, it's important that you find new ways that will allow you to kind of stay in a leadership positions and maintain those positions for some times, because today it's very, very easy to lose those positions. And innovation allows you to keep those positions basically for some time. Next slide. Yeah, so what is innovation, right? And very often we think when I ask my team like, hey guys, like what is innovation, all of them always mention like Instagram, I don't know, like YouTube, right? I don't know, Boston Dynamics with their robots that do dancing and that do this nice physical movements, and ChatGPT. We cannot not mention ChatGPT or Tesla, right? As a phenomena of the electrical cars and like selling them in a certain way, right? But is really like do you think that you are not innovative enough if you don't work on this type of products, right? So next slide. You have to understand that innovation is just a new way to do things, right? And innovation is not an invention. Invention is when, like, some times ago, someone invented the first light bulb. Yeah, this is invention. So, like a company that invented the first electrical car and electrical vehicle. This is invention. First telephone is invention. But innovation is just a modification of already existing things, and while it can be a product improvement, you should also understand that innovation is also a new way of selling a product. It can be a new way of how your product is delivered to your customers. It can be just simpler payment option that you provide for them. And if this is also like will ensure that their use case is relevant, or even just changing the pricing and packaging of your product, this is already innovation that can significantly improve your competitive advantages on the market. Next slide. So the question that I started asking this to my product managers, like, do you think that your product lacks innovation because it doesn't integrate with ChatGPT, right? And our community in our product, they actually do, like, very often they think that, hey, we are we are not innovative enough because some of the younger competitors that join, they already integrated with ChatGPT and they do some cool things with it. But let's look at the next slide, and let's look at the types of innovation that exist. And so there are actually the three types of innovation. The first one is a new market disruption. And as a new market disruption, yes, this is innovation which is kind of more prominent, I would say, right? So this is the type of innovation that can create a new product potentially, and it creates a new market segment within an existing market. So, for example, again, our company, we created the new phenomena of IT documentation. Before, there were no products that were doing it, right? Or like potentially like Instagram or like TikTok, right? TikTok can be a new market disruption because now it is within the social media space, but it's now also incorporates the idea of video editing as well as better algorithm for promoting your influencers, right? So this is like a new market disruption. It usually the people like the companies that join this market, they are moving up market, and they make the leaders in this market more obsolete, right? Again, for example, TikTok, you likely will be using TikTok, and maybe Instagram Reels is not as a big phenomena right now as the TikTok. But the interesting part here is that the reason why this kind of disruption happens and why these companies can exist, because they have limited resources still, right, is because the market leaders can't change their strategy very fast. So because they don't understand the segment yet, right? So why would they like the cash cows who exist in the market even invest, into this new segment that no one like that has a lot of unknowns, right? No one knows if it's going to be a big profitable one or not. So that's why the new market disruptors, they exist. And again, because there basically are no direct competitors. Now, if you are working for a company that is a leader already, right, and you're working on a product, like again, Instagram, for example, right, they, even though they might not be as innovative anymore because they don't do something like disruptive, but the sustaining innovation is there, right? So the goal of sustaining innovation is to stay relevant. And they can stay relevant by serving a lot of use cases and a lot of different user flows for the top tier customers, right? They are, again, like the large customers, they will compete with other leaders on the market, and they have a lot of resources in order to fight with evolving competitors, because they serve top tier customers, because they serve customers who are ready to spend a lot of money. But there is also a low end disruption, and low end disruption, the goal of the companies there is to break into the market. So the interesting fact is that the low end disruptions, they don't create a new product necessarily, like very new product, new features, right? But what they do is they offer their product at a lower price. They serve lower customers who are not willing to pay so much for like very fancy features that leaders will provide, but and leaders are not interested to compete with them just because they serve the customers that are not ready to spend their money, right? These companies usually have like limited resources, but they are still able to operate and make money. And I think low end disruption is very interesting type of innovation that you can do when you work already for a large sustaining product. So let's look at the next slide. So I already gave you high level overview, but for new market disruption, there is actually a lot of literature on how to be like entrepreneur, right? But honestly, in my opinion, in order to launch your company, which will be like a new market disruption, you either need to be a subject matter expert in a market segment, meaning that you need to know this market and players in it in and out, and you need to know the pain point, or you need to be an existing customer in a market segment and you need to experience the pain point yourself. So I think, like, for example, myself, I don't work with a Salesforce product, right? I know there are a lot of companies who build on Salesforce, but I don't really work with this product. I'm not a customer of it. I'm not like running any CRM, like I don't understand CRM. honestly, likely I will not be a successful entrepreneur in this industry because I don't know it very, very well, right? So for new market disruption, really, again, you have to be a subject matter or a customer, and then obviously you then have to have resources, either through investors or like investing your own resources in order to make the disruption. Now, for next slide, we will talk about sustaining innovation, right? And when it comes to sustaining innovation, it's also easy. You basically just need to understand your core customer experience. You need to potentially maybe understand the use case that your competitors can copy. And all you have to do is just strive for excellence, right? Make the features that cover so many use cases that, again, like just other competitors can't do it, because we have this phenomena of launching minimum viable products. And minimum viable products is just like launch a feature, test it, see if it works. But as a sustaining innovation, you actually have an MVP feature, and then you are striving for excellence, meaning you're making it as great as possible so that it becomes very heavy in terms of resources for other companies to copy it. But then for low-end disruption, this is where I would like to talk a bit more. Let's do the next slide. So for low-end disruption, all you have to do is to introduce a product that already exists in the market, likely. But your goal here is to do a good enough quality, meaning 80-20 rule, meaning launch the 20% of features that 80% of customers will use. You can also do the delivery process improvements. So basically change the way how this product, where and how this product is delivered to your customers. And also focus on lower profit margins, right? Focus on modifying the price that will be cheaper than competitors, because you only offer good enough quality of product. But low-end disruption is very great to increase the revenue opportunity. Again, if you work for a company, and you can do it through cross-sell or upsell. Next slide. So how to find a low-end disruption opportunity, right? I will I think like whatever I'm going to say here is like quite understandable. Everyone knows that first focus on customer needs analysis, understand the idea or like jobs to be done that your customers talk about the most. Do the market analysis, but not only do the competitive analysis, understand the types of products that are actively used by your customer, and see if this jobs to be done approach is already satisfied by other products. Again, this might not be exactly your direct competitors, can be your indirect competitors, but the products that your customers use. Then, of course, you have to define your product, feature, scope, price, go-to-market opportunity, and financials. And on next slide, I'm going to talk about use case real quick that I myself experienced within my current company, right? So it might be a bit more boring, but please stay with me. I do think that it will be pretty useful. So we have the products in our industry which are called network visualization and monitoring solutions, right? And so what they do, they have the agents that goes into your organization's server potentially, and the agent automatically discovers how devices are connected between each other, what is your kind of cloud or on-premises infrastructure of your, again, devices, of your security, of your network. So network visualization and monitoring solutions, they kind of exist in the industry, and they do this. So let's do the next slide. And we are a documentation company, right? So in the documentation, what we do, we just like basically automate information for them. But in our ideas portal, we have noticed that a large portion of customers, they wanted to export this network visualization that they get from this monitoring and discovery tools, and they want this to export into our documentation solution. And potentially this could have been implemented as a feature, but we went a bit further and we decided to analyze our customers, right? And when we did analysis of our customers, the jobs to be done that they wanted basically to do was to automate network discovery, because today, like when they keep this like diagrams manually, it usually becomes obsolete very, very fast. They wanted to do correct billing, meaning that when they know exactly how many devices exist on a network, our customers, they can correctly bill their customers. So they needed it for their revenue. And finally, they wanted this network visualizations to be living next to other information that they store about this their clients. For example, like users information, the employees information, and many other information that this particular industry stores. So this was the customer needs analysis. Next slide. Then we analyzed market. And when I analyzed market, we realized that there are three types of category of products that exist for this particular case. Number one is expensive feature-rich discovery and monitoring solutions, right? Again, they are very expensive and they have a lot of features and they are market leaders and they make very good revenue. Then there are free of charge discovery tools that they can just use an agent, take it from online and just do a discovery. Or another method is actually there is market doesn't exist, but our clients will just go physically to the office of their clients and do the manual documentation of every single device that exists on their network. Next slide. So whenever we kind of matched the market and customer analysis, we realized that for expensive feature discovery, it's too expensive. So basically only 1% of our customers would even use these tools. For the free of charge discovery tools, our customers didn't like, because first of all, it's security. You have like agent, you download it from internet, then you like put it on a network, it's pretty insecure. But also the biggest problem was delivery of this product, because it was isolated tool and the information was stored somewhere else. And finally, when it comes to on-site discovery, it's just like very complex, because you actually have to spend the entire day of a person to go on a customer site to do the documentation, and then manually keeping documentation up to date is obviously crazy. And so on the next slide, this is how we modified our market from very expensive feature-rich products into a low-end disruption that we were able to launch. So with the current market, we have visualization and monitoring solution, right? But we realized that monitoring is not a big use case. So what we left in a product was just visualization. And we knew that this was enough for a customer because it would achieve their goals. The cost of the current market leaders was per device, meaning that even if you, for example, I don't know, sell it for $10 a device, 600 devices, already make you pay $6,000 a month. We decided that our price will actually be fixed for unlimited devices. And then the delivery, right? All of those products, including expensive products, including free of charge, they are isolated. You basically, when you receive information, you have to manually copy and paste it into your other operational tools. While we, as documentation platform, we already store documentation. So what we did, we actually integrated this solution as an add-on product into documentation, meaning that now their visualization is stored next to other information where their customers' information is stored, right? So now it's not isolated, it actually integrates into your existing tool stack. But the biggest, I think, thing which allowed us to launch this product was a technology, because as you probably understand, having agent that collects information is pretty like complex and it requires some research. Again, this is important, very important part where like in our organization, we didn't have advanced agent, but we did have agents that we were able to use, and our technology was developed already. So we already invested into developing this technology. So that's why, again, if technology wouldn't exist, you wouldn't be able to launch this product. So always pay attention to technology. Next slide. And also go-to-market opportunity was amazing because we were able to use our existing sales engine in order to cross-sell add-on products. Or potentially you can also cross-sell through in-app purchases, right? Like you can always create a page that is like, oh, if you buy this you will get this experience, right? So you can either automate it through in-app purchases, or you can use in existing sales engine. Because we had 5,000 customers, it was easy for us to use existing sales engine. And we didn't even need it to acquire new customers. That's why for us, the cost of acquisition was very, very low. And finally, the next slide, please. Yeah, financials. I think financials depend on what you need to do here. For me personally, I needed to do the forecast of revenue because I needed to have a team of engineers in order to work for it. For on this product. So for me, I did an assumption on the price increase correlation with R&D investment, and I basically just predicted the revenue based on price and units sold for the next 3 years. We did a quick discovery with engineering team on the COGS of cost of operations and AWS costs. I kind of had my forecast on how many engineers I need in order to make this product competitive at a price that I wanted to sell it. And because our go-to-market was super cheap, like I obviously added sales, marketing, and support expenses, which was the high level forecast of existing people who would be able to work with the product. And again, for you, it might be just like maybe you need to do financials only to determine a price. That's good. For me, again, I needed to do the investment and R&D team. And basically, that's it. So as a recap, how to find low end disruption, right? So start with an idea that you hear the most. If you have idea where your users are talking to you and they always or you have ideas portal, right? Or you go to a conference and 10 users out of 15 say that they want something, don't just implement it. Think about if the revenue opportunity exists and do the market analysis. Define where this again need is already fulfilled. If it's fulfilled, can you copy it or not? And once you do these two important points, you then will understand what is the product or feature, ensure technology is there to support your use case, and then calculate how much it will cost you to actually launch this product. Again, for low end disruption, the best strategy is when you already have kind of something that generates revenue and you just want to add on top of it additional revenue and additional uh, profit, basically. And